Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 6 of Storm from the Ashes, is part 3 of the X-Manhunt event written by Mirwa Ayadil and art by Mirwa Ayadil. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. So with that said, this issue opens with a narration saying, Thor of the Asgardians, Sango of the Orishas, Chak of the Ahau, Susanu of the Amatsukami, and Zeus of the Olympians. Storm gods are fierce in battle, and Aurora of Earth is no exception. Above in Atlanta is Storm's home during times of peace. In the days of trials and tribulations, it is a sanctuary. A space for all, including a former X-Men known as MAGGOTT. So as MAGGOTT feeds his pets, we see the sanctuary beginning to take off as the narrator continues to say, however, when the horns of war are blown, the sanctuary transforms into a battleship of great destructive power known simply as Thundercloud. And on the next page, we see just how formidable it looks as it sets off. Following that, we jump over to Storm armoring herself and preparing for battle as we get a narration several hours ago from Charles saying, they will send men after me, very bad men, and they will be armed to the teeth with weapons made to hurt me. And I would deserve it. I broke out of prison, Storm. Now to this, a calm and collected Storm replied by saying, I've contacted the Avengers. If the conditions in Greymalkin prison are inhumane, Iron Man can have you transferred to the Cube. I hear the guards there are an assortment of powerful beings that can take on Avenger-level threats, so the inmates are never forced to wear power-dampening collars. Iron Man even jokes about their Tacos Tuesdays. And after a small laugh, Storm then continued to say, I am not ignorant of the fact that this may come across as me being ungrateful. For years you provided a home for me, no matter how hard it was on you. You clothed me, fed me, and never asked for anything in return, except that I shine brightly. But now I am an Avenger. I'm a registered hero in numerous countries. A lot of people need me to keep fighting for them. If I'm found to have willingly housed a known fugitive, one guilty of crimes against humanity, I will have my licenses and diplomatic immunity revoked. To that, Charles picked up his cup and stated, I never thought I would see the day that you would worry so much. The Storm I knew never needed legislation to save the innocent. She let the winds carry her whims like she was above it all. With that stated, Storm replied by saying, the Charles I once knew was neither a war criminal nor a fugitive. We all disappoint those closest to us in our own unique ways, but at our cores, we remain unchanged. Though stretched or compressed by forces beyond us from time to time. So with the food ready, Charles stated, you know me, Storm, I would not place such a great burden on your shoulders if it were not for a good cause. That's why I do not need my telepathic gifts to know you have not truly informed the Avengers of my whereabouts. Or at least, not yet. With the truth out there, Storm followed up with, do you also know why I have gone to all this trouble to make you a warm meal? According to the Avengers database, 95% of escaped mutants convicted are killed during the manhunt set to retrieve them. Chances are, this may well be your last meal. There are no more resurrections, Professor. For now the dead stay dead, so if I were you, I would get to talking. Why have you really come here? With a smile on his face, Charles stated, would you believe me if I told you that I want to bring a piece of old magic we lost in our unified dreams when we were forced awake to harsh reality? I want to raise the dead one final time. With all that established, we then transitioned back to the current day in the skies above San Francisco in the outer cloud. And once there, we see Storm, Charles, and MAGGOTT watching several monitors. And once they were close enough and ready to enter through a portal, the narrator stated, the team is certain that men equipped with weapons built to cause unimaginable pain will be let loose on a manhunt. So they armored up and took on new powerful forms, but those who were after Charles knew him quite intimately, for whom better to hurt him a great deal than the X-Men? And out of the portal walked Scott and his team, and the first thing Scott said was for Storm to stand down because the professor is coming with them. Now Storm is not the one to just stand down in the face of something she knows is wrong, so of course, she said no. With that out there, Scott was obviously upset and stated, I know he's probably giving you some sad story, but you should know this more than anyone else here. That is what he does, he uses people, and his most effective tool is not his telepathy, it's his greater good. So with the two greatest X-Men leaders at a crossroads, Storm begged for Scott not to do this. But at this point, they were past talking, and Scott continued to say, if there's going to be any hope of peaceful coexistence with humans and mutants, we need to be as accountable as the people who we demand it from. The professor is no exception. We're taking him back to Greymalkin prison. So with Scott's mind made up, Storm braced herself for battle and stated, a day will come when you will desire such an exception, and you would bless the heavens on that day that I am who I am. And come that day, I would put my life on the line for you too. But today, this man is under my protection. So with the battlefield set, Storm told Scott she understood and he should give it his all. Then on the following page, the fight was on as the X-Men swarmed Storm's squad. And like the tactician Cyclops he ordered Kid Omega to shield them from Charles's telepathy and to keep him busy. Then he told Juggernaut to target Maggot as Psylocke and himself would retrieve the Professor and withdraw. And finally, Magic and Temper would handle Storm, because Scott assumed that Storm would be unable to use her full power because she may damage her own base. Now as they fought, the narration went as follows: pitiful, years of fighting shoulder to shoulder with powerful comrades and teammates who drafted countless battle plans. After years of testing yourself against weak beings, you would think your false strength is enough for every battle? You follow your heart brashly as though justice and kindness win wars. What is a motif in the face of insurmountable defeat? You've assembled no truly dangerous weapons. You've failed to alter the battleground in your favor. You've set no traps. All you place out there was heart and goodwill. Now this was something Eternity didn't like. In fact, he saw this as a weakness and went forth to teach Storm a valuable lesson. So as Cyclops let out a massive optic blast toward Storm, the two displayed a tug-of-war of epic proportions before the Eternity itself took the wheel. For now, it was Eternity's turn. So as Storm's armor started to turn white, Eternity went on to tell Scott that he has fought well and is very brave, so he should make peace with his existence. So as Eternity completely overpowered Scott, everyone watched in horror as things played out. It was so bad that even the Professor had tears coming down his face as he asked, "What have I done?" Because on the next page, we see Scott completely fucked up. Now this did not sit well with Kane at all, cause this asshole ripped Maggot's arm off and shouted, "I'm going to beat you to a bloody pulp and smear you against the pavement." Now to me this is a big deal, because Storm is one of the OGs, and it's hard for me to think that Magic would ever allow that to happen. But anyway, this threat meant nothing to Eternity, because Eternity replied with the coldest statement ever, and said, "I've seen Oblivion rip out the hearts of beings that could collapse stars into quasars like it was nothing, so compared to my brother, you are all weak." So with a wave of a hand, everyone was tossed aside. And on the following page, Eternity removed the orb it consumed last issue and fed it to Maggots and said, "Eat up, it's the compressed essence of Egan, a creature so fierce even your Sorcerer Supreme found it impossible to defeat." And after the Maggots finished, Eternity called Maggot her new Omega Maggot. Now on a side note, I think this is a great move, that they are doing new and interesting things with underused characters. But anyway, on the next page, we see Kane as the only one still resisting. Now this caught Eternity's attention, especially when Kane said nothing can stop the Juggernaut. So to make a point, Eternity turned its full attention toward the Juggernaut and lifted him into the air, and said, "Let's test this theory," and in a single headbutt, the once unstoppable Juggernaut was sent crashing into the ground. So with everyone kicked out of the thundercloud, we then see Beast navigating through the ship looking for its engine, and as he searched, the narrator said, "Eternity will soon learn the lesson all beings in the universe eventually come to learn no matter how powerful they are. And that is a lesson the ageless cosmic entities seem to always forget. And that is don't mess with the X-Men." And on the last page, we learn that the Celestial that Storm fought in issue number 1 is now being used to power her thundercloud. And just as Beast discovers this, the Professor walks up behind him. And with that said, this issue of Storm comes to an end as the rest of the X-Men standing on Utopia, the former home of the X-Men. Now down in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.